Hi, this is Jim from Vaudevisuals. I'm here with Anka and Jim from Liquidmime. I'm visiting New York from Poland for the international, no, it's the New York Clown Theater Festival. It is international.
Yeah, the New York International Clown Theater Festival.
And they performed their show Is Dead last night and a couple nights ago. Mm-hmm. And it was actually very, very funny. I enjoyed it very much. So let's hear about your history and a little bit about your training. And
okay.
Yeah.
So I'm originally American. I am American. I'm still American. I just live in Poland. The hell. So I grew up and in high school I got interested in mime. My first mime teacher was Nick Johnson. He came to my high school and started working with the kids. And I just got really hooked into that. And then through him I met Greg Goldston, who lives in New York now and teaches workshops. But Greg used to run a summer intensive 3 weeks in Gambier, Ohio. So that was like my summer camp. I was the youngest kid there, and I went there when I was 17 the first year and made all of the grown-ups buy me cigarettes because I was too young to buy cigarettes. But I got really into mime. And then a few years later, I met Dan Griffiths, who now lives in San Francisco and teaches at the Clown Lab. But he was in the process of creating his first clown show, Kaput, with Stephen Chips. And I fell in love with that, and I was basically their first groupie, so I would leave college and skip my classes to be their assistant, just so I could hang out with them and have their genius rub off on me, and I nerded out on their show completely. And when I graduated, moved to Chicago, and they let me join their show as a third clown, and I created my character, and we toured that across the U.S. for a little bit, and then in 2004? Yeah. Anka came to the School for Mime Theater in Gambier, and we met.
Yeah.
And
how
about you?
Yeah, I got
say,
invited to the mime school in Gambier because I've been doing pantomime theater in Poland for years and years and years.
With who?
I did this with many artists based from the pantomime theater of Henryk Tomaszewski, which is like Tomaszewski, a big name on pantomime world in Poland and in Europe. So I grew up in this tradition, and I got invited to the summer mime school to come here, and I was resisting. I was like, nah, I don't know, I'm not sure. But 2 years.
It was during the W. Bush years. So
yeah, and I was like, USA, I'm not sure, I don't know. But then next year, it was actually Greg that came to the festivals in Poland, and he says, hey, come. We'll give you a scholarship for the school. And I was like, I'm not sure. And then after 2 years, I'm like, okay, I'll do it. But I will only go to the festival and quickly come back home. Not festival, the school. And I went to train, and I met Jim, and I stayed here for 3 years.
Because basically, we met at the mime school. And then after the mime school, we went back to Chicago, where I was living at the time. And then, a month later, we got married?
Yeah.
Pretty much. Because as you do, you know.
Yeah.
But it was a bit spontaneous, but that was 14 years ago and 3 kids later. So I think it was okay. I think it was an okay decision.
Quick, spontaneous, good decision.
Yeah. But after we got married, we were in Chicago for a while, and then we toured the U.S. with a school assembly show. It was edutainment called Science Now, teaching science through clown. And then, because of some personal reasons, we moved to Arizona for a bit and kind of recovered. And then from there, it was like, where to go now? Back to Chicago, to New York, to San Francisco, to Seattle. But the whole time that we had been together and in Arizona, I would come and visit. We would go back and visit the Mime Festival in Poland every summer, and her family and friends that are in the performing arts community. And the whole time, I just got the sense that there's more of a thriving live theater culture in Europe. I mean, on Wednesday night, people are like, hey, what are you doing? Let's go see a show, grab a drink, whatever, because there's the city center, and people go out instead of the U.S. I mean, New York is different, but the rest of the U.S., let's go to the Cinemaplex and see the Avengers. Let's stay home and go to, rent something from Blockbuster. And I wasn't too interested in film and in movies. I wanted live theater, and it seemed like there was a real chance to do that as our job.
Yeah, because it's true. It was like that and is now that, for example, we are doing theater. I do also improv. Jim is doing stand-up, and we work with the Red Noses International in Poland doing the hospital clowning. And that's our jobs. We are able to support the family. not with no extra day jobs, the regular normal job, right? So this is very nice that we can do what we love, and this is our job.
That's
So
extraordinary.
this is wonderful.
Yeah.
And it works out, you know.
Wonderful.
Of course, sometimes we break even, or you
Yeah,
know,
sometimes at the
it's-
beginning of the month, because we're freelance, we look at the end of the month and the bills that will come, and we're like, how are we gonna get there?
But you know, there's also in this field there is gigs, and there is, you know, stuff you do.
Something always comes, and you know, our kids like spaghetti, so it's noodles and red sauce. Hey, no problem. That's cheap.
But so this is what kind of was exciting for us in Poland and in Europe in general, and it works out.
Where did the idea for Is Dead come from?
So Anka and I both have a strong connection to death personally. I've lost friends. I've lost a lot of family members growing up, and it's just always been around. Anka's also lost friends and family members.
Really, everybody did.
Well, I know, but I don't know. But when I talk to some of my friends,
Yeah.
like I have friends that are as old as I am, and they both, all of their grandparents are still alive. Like it just doesn't touch everybody.
Yeah.
But my father died when I was 11. The year before that, it was my uncle. The year before that, it was my grandfather. When I was in high school, one of my friends got killed in a car crash. I witnessed it.
And we had one show before that. We were just writing some sketches of pantomime, clown, and then we realized that, hey, in this number, your character dies at the end. And then in this sketch, hey, and in this and this, he also dies. Hey, maybe
Hey, we have
we're
a problem
onto
ending
something.
sketches.
Yeah, we're like, but this is kind of exciting. What if we made a show, a clown show, about death? And we just got super excited about that, and we've been putting I remember that we had small kids at the time. We put them to bed early and stay half a night, you know, close in the room, writing, doing the sketches, writing the ideas, writing the monologue that we played at the end, and and that's how it was created. So we realized that subconsciously this topic is exciting for us. And I don't know, for me, I always loved in theater the most when the laughing and crying meets. For me, this was always the most interesting and
Poignant
exciting.
moments, yeah.
Yeah. So I was happy that we're onto something like that in our creative process, that it's still like that, right? People come to the show and they laugh, and they come and they're like, oh my God, I cried in a clown show, but I laughed, I cried. Oh. So it's great.
Because it touches people, and it was around the time that we made the Is Dead show. We started working for Czerwonowski, which is a branch of Red Noses International based out of Vienna, Austria, because they wanted to set up a program. And I'd been a medical clown before. When I was living in Chicago, I worked for the Big Apple Circus Clown Care Unit out there. But when we moved to Arizona, I had to give that up, and I was really sad because I just I don't know, I got a taste of that work, and I was bitten by the bug intensely. So when we were in Arizona, we tried to do some volunteer work, and it was okay. When we moved to Poland, we took whatever opportunities we could, and we tried to set up our own NGO, but we're not administrators.
We were bringing teachers, like we organized a workshop for Moshe Cohen in our city, you know, like we were trying to get some taste of that work.
Yeah. But there's, for a long time, there's also been that connection of clown and trauma, clown and death, because of course there's that element of death in the hospital, and heaviness. So that contradiction, but also the yin yang of that. And there's probably a lot in the show from our experiences in the hospital and with death and trauma and heavy situations to try to process them, to deal with that, which is what we do all the time when we're there, is just try to lighten the mood without disrespecting the weight of the situation, you know.
Yeah, and now we're doing it professionally in Poland, because 6 years ago the Red Noses opened a branch in Poland, and now we're leading artistically the group, because Jim is the coach and the trainer, and I'm the artistic director of the Polish organization. And and we love to be connected with the Red Noses International, be part of it, because it's beautiful that we can exchange the experiences and the know-how and get inspired by what other countries are doing. It's wonderful.
It's a mind-boggling family, because it's a collection of 11, 12 different countries, most of them based around Central Europe. So there's Austria, Germany, Slovakia, Czech, Slovenia, Croatia, Poland, Lithuania, Hungary, as well as Palestine and Jordan. So everyone kind of operates independently, but we're also connected, and there's so much knowledge sharing. And then when we take workshops, or there's the annual clown camp where people from all the organizations come together and we have a giant party and integration, and you're meeting and talking with everyone with different accents and slightly different styles, but you're all doing the same work. And because it is difficult work and it's challenging, and everyone struggles with the fundraising and struggles with the heaviness of the work, that when you come together, you realize, okay, we're not alone. When we do it, we're off there in space doing it, but behind us we have the whole community of other people trying to do the same thing, because this work is super important and the world needs more of it. Mm-hmm. But it's a process to be recognized as a legit profession, and to get the support behind it, and to have more competent people doing it.
Yep.
Great. So what are you going to do with Is Dead show? You have any ideas about touring it? Or?
Well, right now, by bringing it to New York, we managed to downsize, I can say, the props into one suitcase, maybe one and a half.
It used to fill up our entire trunk of our minivan, and we got it down into a suitcase and a half.
So this is exciting, and I think it's a new start for the show to play it more internationally. I mean, we've played it in places in Europe, but we first time flew with it. So I think we're just starting a new journey of this show, and we would love to play it in more festivals and more places and tour with it. And
nice. Oh, great. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Bye.